We're good?
I'm looking at you, so.
It shows we're live here. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Trail Talk. I am Mary, coming to you live from Margaris Gallery here at the Chisholm Trail Heritage Center in Duncan, Oklahoma. We are joined today by Mr. Joe Don Brave, excuse me. He is our new exhibit artist that we have here. So, Mr. Brave, without further ado, we're going to jump on in here and we're going to get started here. We have some of his beautiful paintings and items here that we're starting to put up for his exhibit that is actually entitled Osage Journey, and it will be here for you guys to come in and see from now until the end of September. And he actually will be here again joining us on July 15th from 4:30 to 6:30 for his opening reception. So we're excited for that. You guys come on in and you get to meet and talk with Mr. Brave and look at his beautiful art that we'll have here on display in our Garris Gallery. So, Mr. Brave, without further ado, we're going to start off here talking about, I believe, we're going to talk first about this piece right here, which he told me earlier is his new style of painting. So if you would, just kind of explain your inspiration and kind of how you came up with this.
Well, I'd always wanted to do palette knife painting, and I had this little palette knife. I had my little holder there for like 20 years, and I figured, well, let me try it out. So I just put some paint on the canvas and started scraping around, and one thing led to another, and now it's
Before you knew it, it came to life.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's another thing too. It came to life. I remember my dad was an artist,
Mhm.
and I remember him saying that it's one thing to paint a painting, then it's another thing to make it come alive.
Right, right.
So it's just you just
It's a
gotta
process.
keep it in there. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think it is a beautiful painting. And you're like you said, your dad he was an artist,
Yes,
correct?
Yes.
So his style was the same in the Native American kind of
Yes.
art style?
Yes, he did. He was contemporary. Then he was a commercial artist in his later days.
Uh-huh.
Over in Millen Park, Kansas.
Oh, yeah.
He worked for Paul Mart, and he was a great artist. He had great colors,
Yeah,
and just kind of rubbed off on me a little bit.
I
guess.
saw there was something I read that said you used to like to sit and you would sit with him and you would draw with him and like, watch him work.
Yeah, and sometimes I'd go to the studio with him,
Uh-huh.
and he'd just give me something to do.
Just to keep you
Yeah,
busy?
Yeah, keep you busy.
Uh-huh.
So I'd fiddle around with the magic markers and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, we still call them magic markers.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about when you say magic markers anyway. Well, that's pretty cool. And also, we should mention that you are Osage and Cherokee descent, correct? So a lot of your artwork reflects and represents that style and that kind of
Yes,
lifestyle.
actually, mostly Osage.
Mostly Osage.
Yes,
You reside in Pawhuska, is that correct?
yes, Osage County.
Osage County.
Yes, my grandmother, my dad's mother was Cherokee.
Uh-huh.
She passed away not too long after childbirth. And so we were raised Osage. So, but in the last 4 years, we kind of get in touch with my Cherokee side,
Mhm.
heritage, and symbolism.
Some of that comes to life through your work as well. And you also, not just your beautiful artwork, but you also take part in ceremonial and the traditional dances too.
Yes, been in a traditional all my life. Our tribe has they have a dance called Elongska. It's June.
Uh-huh.
Once a year, we all come back. We have our dances.
Right.
And it's sort of ceremonial, but it's real traditional. It's just Osage.
Mhm. How many are in that group usually?
Oh, well, the Osages nowadays we have 3 districts.
Okay, so it's
And,
big.
Yeah, it's big. So each district has their own arbor,
Mm-hmm.
and we dance for 4 days. It's 4 days at one, and the next weekend we go to the next. We all camp there, and then the last one we all camp there. And it completes
Yeah,
June dances.
that's pretty cool. So you all come together once a year then during the month of June. So you get to build in those relationships, I guess, with everyone else as well.
Exactly. And we've all grown up together, and watched each other grow up.
And then your kids grow up and
Get old now. So it's just those tight knit things. It's kind of a really neat thing to know somebody your whole life.
Right.
Yeah.
People sometimes now take for granted things, and these stories and things, they get passed on from generation to generation. And so much of our life and, lifestyle now is electronic. But so much of these things and stories are, verbal. If they don't get passed on, they get lost and
Yes.
it ends.
That's the way we were. Now we have a big language. Language has really become such a really, big in our tribe now.
Mhm.
We have classes now, cultural centers.
Way to grow the,
Oh,
grow
yeah.
grow
we
the
gotta keep
community.
Yeah, keep the community going and all that. And when I was young, it's word of mouth.
Right, yeah.
But now we've got all this stuff out now. It's just really great.
Really helpful resources, I guess, for
Yeah.
people to reach out to.
Yeah, I think it's one of the things about my artwork here. I try to, it was my way of trying to keep it alive and bring it back.
Right.
Keep it going.
Keep people interested
Yeah.
and familiar with it.
Exactly
I think that's
right.
great.
I think that's what I mostly did in my life.
Well, I think you have done a phenomenal job of doing that. This piece right here is another beautiful piece. Do you want to talk about this piece right here?
Yes, it's another action piece I've done of a traditional dancer, a street
Uh-huh.
dancer. It's our regalia, how we dress, but I grew up in there. I know, I can feel it, and I really enjoy painting. Dancing.
You can almost see the motion in the paint.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This was called Saturday Night.
Saturday night.
That's what it's like, one of the funnest nights out there. Everybody's
Uh-huh.
really dancing up hard. It's really,
I imagine it's nice and warm too in those costumes.
oh, yeah.
Oh, over
I'm
here,
sorry.
come this way. Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, we're gonna move around here. And this piece right here beside it is another beautiful piece, and it, I believe, is also a dancer, correct?
Yes, that's part of my powwow studies. And powwows are great fun too. And we had a lot of dancers, a lot of tribes that come from all over, and they contest, and have a good time. And they got great dancers. And one of the categories is called a fancy shawl.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my fancy shawl.
Fancy shawl. I think it
And then
stands.
I believe that they're symbolic of butterflies
Oh, really?
dancing.
With the wings?
dancing in the meadow.
Uh-huh. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece. And I like how it kind of has the drips here and the full wing kind of action that you have in the. And most of yours are faceless, I've noticed, or they don't have the detail, which I really like as well.
I think nowadays I'm kind of cutting the detail down a little bit, like I'm trying to do a little more impressionistic, just tiny bit, And also, it's kind of funny, like I've danced in all my life, grew up with all the people that are all my life. Sometimes when I paint something, somebody comes out there and they said, hey, that looks like, what's his name,
Uh-huh. Right, it reminds them of
So
somebody.
I got tired of that, and I said, kind of cut down on the face a little bit.
Right. Right?
But the painting to me it's all about balance of colors and relationship and complementing,
Mm-hmm.
and just keep those whatever color you put in, if they're complementing something else, keep it going, and balance it all out.
Yeah.
So if so the facial expression I make it just enough.
Just to kind of be able to know what you're trying to get across.
Yeah. Make it go along with the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I will do realistic.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, I think it's really, you've captured it, I believe. How long does it usually take you to finish a piece like this from start to finish?
When I was younger, it took, it could take 2 days, it could take a week, maybe 3 weeks.
Mhm.
It's a penny.
Right.
Hard to get in the
Kind of have to
mood.
be in the same mindset each time you sit down to start and finish.
Yeah, but nowadays I've done it so much that I'm liking my colors. I'm really enjoying painting now, and I can find my colors. Now I'm experimenting with colors.
Mhm.
So nothing's really a set, rule book in anything.
Right.
Just paint.
Just get in your
feels good.
groove and you go.
Yeah, paint how you feel and have a good time with it. I'm not posting. Sometimes,
No, you're right.
sometimes I put a painting out in a day.
Uh-huh.
and then like
Yeah.
that. Depends on, how much I want to put into it, the size of it,
Mhm.
but, a day.
About a
2
day,
day, yeah,
2 days.
yeah.
It just amazes me how when artists do that, they can just turn them out like that, and the pristine and the quality, just the detail that you're able to do in that amount of time. But when you're used to doing it like that, then, like I said, you get into your groove and you know what you're trying to accomplish.
It takes years.
Oh, yeah,
Years.
I'm
It's-
sure.
It's a practice, and you gotta, you remember colors, and you gotta remember, all kinds of things,
Mhm.
and just if you could, think of something and bring it out through your arms and out of your hands and on the canvas, and
Right.
paintbrush. That's great.
That's the
It's
amazing
great
part of
feeling,
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Once you get those color combinations down,
it just
you
comes to
go.
life.
Yeah,
There you
yeah,
go.
exactly.
Just takes off on its own. So you haven't, you've been an artist a lot of your life, but you also did some other things. So you worked on a fishing boat. I
Oh, yes.
remember you said that. You did some bartending and some landscaping, but you worked also at the Smithsonian.
Yes, it is.
And so how long did you work there?
I worked there from 94 to 2002. I worked as National Museum of American Indian.
Mhm.
It was during the big opening of the museum back in 95 or 6 or something like that.
Mhm.
And I guess I was a technician, and I specialized in designing mounts for objects for transport. And when I first got there, we were moving the old Indian Museum out of Harlem, Native American Museum,
Mhm.
out of Harlem, packing it all up, and then moving it to the Bronx,
Uh-huh.
because it was the main storage facility for the Smithsonian.
Okay.
And then 2-3 years later, they wanted to close that down and
Move it again.
Move it again all the way to Suitland, Maryland, to Washington D.C.
Uh-huh.
Brand new storage facility there. So that was that major big move.
I'm sure it was.
And that pretty much put me into 2002. I just did that. It's great. I mean, everything you see is like you're in awe every day. Having a real McCoy.
Right, just everything there.
Oh,
And you
yeah.
also met your wife there
Yeah,
while you were working there?
Yeah, she worked in registration.
That's
That's what we always used to hide in there from everybody else. Yeah, going to her
Sneak away,
office.
yeah,
But anyway,
just kind
yeah,
of cut away.
she needed more football stats than I did.
Really? And you were actually, you were named after a football player, correct?
Yes, Joe Don Looney. One day, my older brother, my dad were watching a football game back in the 60s.
Uh-huh.
And this guy on there, his name was Joe Don Looney. I guess he was like All-American. He played professional football and
Uh-huh.
everything. Anyway, I come walking by and I was like, I don't know, I was probably still in diapers. They said, look, Joe Don, his name is Joe Don, next in line. Then my older brothers and sisters called me Joe Don.
Just kind
I
of
didn't know my name
stuck
was
with you
Vincent for,
forever.
yeah.
Because your legal name or your name is actually Vincent Paul Brave, named
Yes.
after the two artists, Vincent Van Gogh and Paul Gauguin.
Yes.
So-
My dad was an artist, and that was two of his favorites.
Right.
Some of his favorites. But yeah.
So you just have it all there. You keep named after
Yeah.
artists and your nicknames from the football player.
Yeah,
there.
but I
So-
always got my Joe Don.
Right.
All my paintings are signed. I gotta change it. I'm gonna have to change it.
Well, after this long,
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, and these pieces that we have here behind me, actually we have for sale in our gift shop. So we have, here is a glass cutting board. It's one of his pieces that it's been, how do you actually put these on the cutting board?
This is a sublimation. It's reproduction. It's you heat your image
Mhm.
onto it, actually. It's a sublimation. And these are heated on from the back side at about 400 degrees.
Okay.
And then this shows from the front side. And you can cut it on all day long.
You're not gonna chip any paint off of that,
Everybody's.
right? Just more of a display piece rather than actual utility. And of course, his coffee mugs that we have here. Some of his pieces have been put here on the mugs, and see the little reprints, little pieces like this. So this is what, like a 5x7? So
Yes.
5x7 size. And then, of course, the pieces like here that are on canvas. So are these also reproductions as well? So these will all be for sale here in our gift shop as well. You guys can call in. You can go to our website, which is onthechisholmtrail.com, to purchase these, or you can come on in. We're open 6 days a week. So his items will also be for sale here as well in the gift shop, as well as here in our exhibit. So if you guys are in the market for paintings. This piece right here as well, do you have a story behind this one?
These are called lady dancers. It's basically what our ladies look like in our arbor, where we dance at.
Uh-huh.
And it's just I was coming home one day and I seen a painting, and it's like a freeze frame. And it all coming in from the the northeast coming this way. Mostly just dance counterclockwise.
Okay.
And they're coming in from, it's just, we start the song, and start singing, and the guys get up, they start dancing, and the women come in the corners.
Mhm.
And they go around the way outside.
Okay.
And dance on the inside.
Uh-huh.
It's just the way to do it. And I just see the freeze frame. I read in my mind. I got home. I start painting. It's kind of a fast painting. You know, see, I've watched it a lot. And it's the bleachers, the people.
Right, in the background
This was a
audience.
big room, table
Uh-huh.
to have, and harbor.
Right.
And it's
So
just
they dance barefoot?
those are actually supposed to be like let it go.
They're lovely moccasins, okay.
I didn't really go into detail that much, but it's sort of just I was trying to
Right,
capture.
just
the
a
feeling.
of it, right. Okay, and then this piece right here, this has a lot of red in it, which I really like. You have a lot of red in the one next to it, which we'll talk about in a second. But do you have a story behind this one here?
A lot of times painting it for some reason or another. It could be the hat, it could be the
Medallion there?
the shell, bologna shell, whatever.
Uh-huh.
It could, but I'm just painting, just paint something.
Bring it across.
Yeah. But when I got finished with it, I thought he's kind of it's like an ancestor,
Mhm.
SDR.
Right.
In our tribe, the only time they wore an otter hat, it's supposed to be an otter hat,
Okay,
the eagle plume on the back.
okay.
The only time they really wore this when you're old, you completed everything in life. And that's you got to wear those.
Uh-huh.
And
So he's very prestigious in
So-
his, he's
and
the elder.
he must have completed everything at an early age. But
He has a lot of story in his face, though. You can see in his face, if his face could speak.
and that's another thing. Whenever I did faces or impressions or something, I kind of just made them. I try to make it more self-explanatory somehow, let the painting talk. And if you feel that in the face, that's what I'm trying to project out of there.
Mhm.
That's what I'm trying to. And so he's
He's telling the story
yeah,
with his face,
yeah,
for
that's
sure,
something going
for
on.
sure, for sure.
Yeah.
And then this piece right here, we were talking about it before we went live. So this piece, actually, you said it kind of represented the fires, the prairie fires and things when people burn there in
Mhm.
Pawhuska.
Yes, it was the paint, the
Uh-huh.
style of a paint that he has on him, a war paint. And that was an actual style. It was red over black, and it symbolized prairie fire. So they call it Swift Black Prairie Fire. That's the name of that facial paint design. And when they went into battle, they had different paint designs for different things.
Different things.
And that one just happened to be that one, and it's a total annihilation.
I mean, you can tell here, he is set in what he is doing, and he's got that mindset where he is
Exactly.
going in, he knows what he's doing, and you can just see it in his eyes. There's just something about the eyes there that he
And that's
just.
exactly what I do. That's what you said.
And we didn't rehearse
Yeah.
this. I mean, this is what you see when you look at this.
And this is a classic war club that it's holding. It's called a Gunstock War Club.
Uh-huh.
And I have actually, this is a sun carrier symbol, which that's what I have. I'm a sun carrier clan.
Okay,
There's Sijo and Hunka, there's Sky people and Earth people.
okay,
Each one has 13 or more clans. And then the Sky clan, I'm a sun carrier clan.
okay. So that's what that
Yeah,
represents.
that's a symbol. What that is if you look at the line of the sun, it goes over like this.
Uh-huh,
You got the circle of the sun.
right.
So that's the sun,
The
that's the
sun
path.
line it takes.
That's the path of the sun.
Huh, I like that. See, even within that, there's another story within that.
And I just started signing my painting because for years I just had, Joan Ombre. Man, everyone's got this fancy signatures. I didn't have one for a long time. So wow, I said, that's it. So now, look at it right now. I got it now.
Oh, you do?
Mhm.
Yeah, you've got the circle with the line through it.
It's the path of the sun.
I like that. So here's, I don't know,
Yeah.
Tina, if you can catch it here. There's one here as well, and then the
Uh-huh.
one. I do. I see that now that you pointed that out. That's really
So
cool.
there really, there's so many things that, it's just not cut and dry, it's just not simple. There's nothing really simple.
Mhm.
in native cultures. Every little thing has got some
There's
sort of.
some meaning.
Yeah.
There's something behind it.
Yeah.
Nothing's taken for granted.
Yeah.
Nothing's,
Until
there's a
you-
purpose for everything.
Yeah, until it shows you, that's just a line, and now knows the path of the sun.
Right, exactly. And so, what was the title of this piece right here?
Swift like prairie
Swift like
fire.
prairie fire. And this piece, like he said when we started out, is your newer style that you're doing here.
Palette knife.
With the palette knife.
I call this one Dancer's Delight.
And this one,
It just kind of has all the color, delightful colors.
it just, yeah, it looks like he is either about to go in and do his dance, or, he's mid-dance to me. This looks like it has
Mid-dance,
motion into it, which in the background here, you can kind of, my interpretation anyway, it looks like, leaves and the trees and then, the grass
That's
background.
exactly what it is. Yeah. You got the little grass.
Right, and then maybe a creek back here with the more blue.
Yeah, because, a lot of times I paint, I leave stuff there for the mind, and mine knows where it's going.
Mhm.
The mind knows, and I kind of leave that for the viewers.
Kind of interpret on their own.
Yeah. And then just kind of blend it in. It's all in there.
And it's beautiful. You guys really need to come out and look at his pieces. They're just amazing. I mean, we haven't finished the installation of his pieces here in our Garris Gallery, but I believe we should have it up before long, and you guys are welcome to come out at any time, well, between 10 and 5, while we're open, to come and look at his amazing exhibit. Of course, he will be here on July 15th, I believe is the date that we had said for the opening exhibit. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about or say? You good?
I think I'm good.
Okay, well, I appreciate you coming out here today. Your artwork it's breathtaking. It really is.
Thank you for having me here.
I
Thank you
mean-
for this interview and having me.
Well, we
Good morning.
appreciate you coming. We will put your information in the comments of the video so you guys can check out more of his artwork. You can look at his Facebook page. We will have his exhibit, opening gallery information on there as well. How we like to finish off our trail talks here is we like to say happy trails at the end. So if you will join me in telling everyone at the end here, we're going to sign off by saying happy trails.
Trails.